motion and peak ground velocity numbers y'all are using?
For site-specific analysis, I think if you know the characteristics of the Virginia earthquake, it doesn't even really highlight a peak ground acceleration. That's really not even used in the structural analysis. Because the structural analysis is based on response spectrum, okay? The one that controls the structural response is not the peak ground acceleration or peak ground velocity. That may be used for seismology or other purposes, but not for structural analysis. The structural analysis is really associated with the spectrum content, the frequency contents of the response spectrum amplitudes, okay, associated with the structural frequencies. And that's usually much lower than the peak ground acceleration, which is associated with the CPA, okay, associated with a very high frequency, and that has nothing to do with structural response.
So, I guess my question, and since you're saying those numbers don't really matter, how are you how is seismology used into doing the analysis then? They've got to have a cutoff as it goes for frequency and also for motion, so...
Seismology follows, their own methodology, which is probabilistic Sennheiser analysis, right? They follow that methodology and that is based on, whatever peak ground acceleration velocity displacement that comes in play. But the end product of that process is really a specific design response spectrum, okay? And that covers the spectrum amplitude across the entire frequency range of interest, okay? But the structural response, the structure only sees a range of that response, not entire frequency range, right? It's only the range that's associated with structural frequencies, which typically are very low, okay? They fall below 20 hertz, okay? Typically, if you look at all the containment, the large structures, the structural frequency are below 10 hertz. Okay, so the peak ground acceleration, always the value associated with the site that is used to establish the design response spectrum, but the structural response are affected only by the low frequency structural the spectrum amplitude. I hope this all has to do with the structural dynamics, right? So a structure only sees the certain frequency input. Okay, it's like the human eyesight. We only see a certain spectrum of colors. Okay, but the reality is the world is very colorful, has much more colors than we can see. Okay, because our eyes serve as a filter. The certain frequency range is through our eyes, all filtered out. We could not see. Therefore, we could not respond to that range of colors. The same thing as the structure. The structure only sees low frequency response input. Okay, when you have like a high frequency, it's basically all filtered out. The structure not going to respond.
Jim, I think what you're saying is that structures have a natural frequency in which they're vulnerable to being defective, that is,
Well,
we haven't
the structure only responds to the input that with the frequency that close to the natural frequency of the structure.
Okay.
Right. So if the natural frequency of the structure is 8 hertz, then you may have a second, third mode, but the structure probably only see the response up to, for example, 20 hertz input. Okay. Beyond that, the structure not going to be able to respond.
And that's our focus from a safety point of view, right?
But from any structural dynamic response theory or practice.
Okay. Just want to make it clear.
But Erica, also the other thing to consider, and we talked about this before, is that you have this ground motion response curve, which is really why we're here in the first place, which has been updated because of new data that's come in the northeast, central northeast area. So that they take that curve and then they apply it to the DCD, which is really, when you think about it, if you look at current operating plants, it well exceeds anything that the current plants actually are designed to. They've put a lot of margin in it, and so this North Dam 3, it's going to probably be the last thing standing down there if there is, you know, the fact that the probability of any major earthquake in Virginia is very low. Otherwise, we wouldn't even be here. But if there was, let's say, or Godzilla jumped on at the site, the only thing standing will be this plant. I mean, so that's kind of where we are, just in the layman's terms. And you could look at it in the DCD. Actually, it probably explains some of this in the literature. It's not really that difficult to conceptualize. I know a lot of the details we talk about get very technical.
Well, yeah, I appreciate that. Well, I guess in layman's terms, what size of earthquake will it resist?
Well, put it this way, the mineral earthquake that you had actually was well under what the DCD, the DCD bounding analysis would allow, including the current sites that are sitting there, that it exceeded their design. However, you know, because they're so robustly built in the first place, there's a lot of margin. You hear us talk about a lot of margin. Those other plants had plenty of margin, and they went through and did their typical seismic evaluation of the current plant. It did exceed those plants, but that earthquake would not have exceeded this North Dam 3
Okay,
design.
so instead of a 5.8, could it withstand a 6 or a 6.5?
Well, those numbers get, you know, those, again, I think it goes back, those numbers are relative. It depends on the, like, for example, West Coast earthquake, it's totally different than a...
Well, I think this the specific seismic design was established based on all credible earthquake that could occur at north end site, okay, and that's a part of the methodology and analysis, right? So you know, so all the potential earthquake that could occur at the site has been considered as part of the design basis for the site-specific evaluation. And that has to be considered that the return period is 10 to minus 4, right? So that's basically 10,000 return period, right? 10,000 years earthquake.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not concerned with the 10,000 years part, simply because, you know, we've got the Virginia seismic zone. There's multiple faults up there, and I've been reading different information out there about how one fault can transmit energy to other faults. And Unit 1 and 2 were an ancient fault it's built directly on. So, of course, I have concerns about it being multiple faults up there. So the 10,000 year earthquake is, to me, it's not a real logical thing to look at. My concern is, I understand there's all these analyses going in, but I still kind of go back to the same. We've had a 5.8 earthquake, I don't know, 500 and some aftershocks, and I'm just questioning, you know, what magnitude of earthquake will Unit 3 withstand? You know, is it another 5.8? You said it's going to be stronger, so does that mean it's going to be a 6.0? Or I mean, there's got to be some number you guys can pull out of the hat.
We're not in the earthquake predicting business, right?
Well, no, I'm just saying if we had a 6.0, will Unit 3 still be standing?
Well, based on our analysis, the methodology we put in, all credible earthquake that could occur at the North Anna site and were considered in this site-specific evaluation. Right, they're all considered. They're all part of the analysis. Right? I don't think we left anything out. Right? I mean, the Dominion didn't leave anything out, and staff took due diligence, review all aspects of analysis. You know, I mean, in terms of a fault, the size of fault or the potential fault. Not just, you know, I believe the hazard analysis include not only Virginia, the side of the Virginia, North Anna side, they include 200 miles, you know, surrounding the site, right? So all potential faults close to North Anna site were adequately considered in the hazard analysis that produced the final seismic design input and that used in this specific evaluation.
Well, the main point is that that's what you're doing now, is verifying and confirming this.
Well, that's exactly what the Dominion has been doing. And of course, in this process, they identify quite a bit of margin in most of the structural system components, but they also identify site-specific enhancements, right? Yeah. So, you know, I mean, that doesn't mean the standard design is bulletproof. The certain part that if it need to be enhanced, it need to be reinforced. I think they took action based on the site-specific analysis, and they did propose, you know, an enhancement in certain areas.
She wants to know what the state shut down earthquake.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, the number I always kind of throw out, which maybe for the layman, is, for example, the North Anna 1 and 2 were designed at 0.13 G.
Right.
Okay. This new one is about 0.6, so it's significantly higher design mark. That was without doing the site-specific analysis. That's the DCD. And so when the way these DCDs are arranged is so this plant could be sited at the fault in California and survive. That's the way these things are designed. They're supposed to encompass the entire United States, right? No? That's not, okay, but anyway, they're significantly,
Well, wait a minute. You said that the 1 and 2 was designed for a 1.3 G?
0.13. 1.3.
A 1.3?
0.13.
I thought so.
Yeah, that's right.
Because it actually was like a 0.26, right?
0.3.
Okay. 0.13 for North Anna 1 and 2, and the ESBWR is 0.3 G. So it's significantly higher. And when you look at seismic, any amount of, you know, increase is substantially higher, goes higher.
Okay. Well, I was trying to get a number that I can understand, so I can understand that.
That is a number you can understand, and there's a lot of literature out there I'm sure you can find on this kind of thing.
Well, I'm always reading, but thank you.
Okay, appreciate it.
Any other questions?
Are there any? Thanks, Erica, for your participation. Are there any other members of the public that have any questions for NRC? Guess not. Okay. Well, thanks for everybody for participating today.
Thank you.
I'm gonna cut off.